Welcome back to Rocket Recap. Let's talk about Rocket League. So it was a pretty good week in Rocket League, and by which I mean it was a pretty bad week in Rocket League. No, it was, forgive the pun, game changing. We had a lot of ups and downs. Um, Rocket League was top dog in December, so that's pretty cool. Scrub trolls everybody, but that's who Scrub is. That's what we expect from him. And it's the biggest disbandment of the offseason so far, in my opinion. Something that shocked me when I saw it, and we're going to talk about that later also. But first, Rocket League Garage. I'm not sure if you guys have been there before. It's a Rocket League fan site. They run during the seasons. They do like fantasy football, except it's fantasy Rocket League. And it's just a place for, you can go to trade. It's just a Rocket League fan site. But they had their car design contest going on this month, and they announced their winners. So, in first place was Machie with the Nova Miss. And he's got the Hypernova boost, and he maxed the Dominus with it, and it looks pretty good. I like it. Let's see why I got number one. And then number two was the Scorching Blue by SC Galaxy. SC Galaxy is also a YouTuber. You should go check him out. He makes pretty good content. And we had the Fire God Dominus, which also looked pretty good with the blue flamethrower boost. It looks nice together. And then in third was Fab M with the Proton Type S, which I especially like because the Breakout Type S is my second car, so definite props to him. So congratulations to all those guys. First place gets 3,000 credits, second place got 2,000, and third place gets 1,000 credits. So if you ever want to enter a design and have a chance to win some free credits, check out Rocket League Garage to stay updated on when their next car design contest starts. So like I said in the beginning, Rocket League was number one in esports in December on Twitch. Well, it was number one in tournament games watched, so it had the most concurrent viewers during the tournament on an English stream, which was NRG versus Vitality, which, come on, obviously. But yeah, more good news. Rocket League's getting bigger and bigger. It's great to see. 2020, we're going to be at the Olympics. Well, not officially, but we'll talk about that later also. So like we talked about last week, Scrub isn't on Vitality anymore. So it was actually true. He wasn't just trolling us. But he is trolling us this week. He started his stream that said that he was going to announce what team he was on. And it had a picture of the mouse logo, like overlaid on top of the FC Barcelona logo. Just trolling us because those are the two teams that he's rumored to go to. So just Scrub being Scrub. But you may be thinking to yourself, FC Barcelona and Mouse Esports both have full rosters. How could he go to either one of those? Well, actually, a lot got dropped from Mouse. So that's partly where they could be coming from. There's more to it than that. But yeah, there's a roster spot there for him. So it's a possibility. We don't know yet. Other roster moves. A big one. AJ. Yeah. Yes. AJ from Rogue. There's like 3 AJs in Rocket League. So I had to make sure when I saw this. Yes, this is AJ from Rogue. Was announced as a new member of Pittsburgh Knights. Which is crazy because they also had a full roster. Until Miss left. Their coach had a whole post about what happened, but yeah, Mist isn't a member of Pittsburgh Knights anymore. So now it's Explosive Gyro, Reddles, and AJ for this new season coming up. So that's going to be pretty fun to watch. Let's see what happens there. Which means that there's a spot open on Rogue now, which, if the rumors are true, First Killer could be coming too, which I don't really care too much about rumors. I like to talk about things after they actually happen. But that would be a pretty good storyline right there. If Scrub went to Mouse Esports and First Killer went to Rogue, Then you would have the Cronovia-Cooksier rivalry, the two old guards with Scrub and First Killa. That would be I would like to see that. If they could both make it to the finals, which the competition is just getting stiffer right now, so who knows? It would be fun to see. I'd like to see that matchup. So besides that, the biggest disbandment of what I think is the off season so far was Low Key Esports. Low Key came in second in South America last year, and they kind of underperformed at LAN for RLCS, but they still did really good. And we were all looking forward to seeing how they would do this year coming up, and they just announced this week that everybody was getting dropped from the team and the team disbanded. So hopefully they can stay together. That's Card, Kaio, and Tander. Card is, maybe the best player in South America right now. Kaio, is up there with them also. I'm not sure what happened for it to happen like this. I don't know if any placement would have saved them from disbanding, but it's sad to see. I hope they can stay together because it's really fun to watch them play, and they work really well together. So let's hope they can stay together somewhere else. All right, so let's get into some series from this past week. On Johnny Boy's stream, we had Team Brain versus Team Mechanics. So that was Fairy Peak, K-Dop, and Farah on Team Brain versus Chaussette, Astral, and Alpha 54 on Team Mechanics. I like the matchup. I don't really like Fairy Peak being on Team Brain because I feel like he's more known for his mechanics, but he can definitely fit on either one. He's just that good of a player. So besides that, I like that team because it's kind of what could be a prelude to the Olympics because they're all French. K-Dop, Fairy Peak, and Farah are all French players. So when the Olympics come up, this potentially could be a team would be hard to beat, obviously. Farah doesn't get as much respect as he deserves, but he's top 10 easy, maybe top 5. K-Dop and Fairy Peak are K-Dop and Fairy Peak, so, Against Chaussette, Astro, and Alpha 54. And in the eternal battle of Brain versus Brawn, or in this case, Brain versus Mechanics, Brain won out again. It was close. The series was 3-2. Everyone's still coming down off of RLCS, which was just, last month. So everyone's still looking really good. And it was another good match. So speaking of the Olympics, I'm not sure what this was. Maybe this was just amateur. But this had like an Olympic setup because the different teams were all from different countries. So we've got like China, Japan, USA, Canada. All the teams are from different countries, but I didn't recognize any of the names, so I'm not sure if this is like an amateur thing. I'm not really sure what's going on. So I'm going to have to find out more information and get back to you guys. But if this is how the Olympics is set up, I think I would like it like this. Because right now they're in week 6, and it's a round robin tournament right now, so every team is playing each other. And as of right now, the Iceland Polar Bears are in first place. The Belgium Lightning is second, and the Denmark Dominoes are in third. But I just like this setup because they all have logos. Like, they look like soccer clubs, like European soccer clubs. This is dope. If this is what it looks like, this is awesome. And also, they let them use their club colors during the matches, which is another thing that Psyonix might want to think about doing because the blue and orange looks good, but when teams get to choose their own colors, even if it was just for, maybe just the finals or maybe just, the semifinals and the quarterfinals and the finals, to let them choose their own colors because it looks like a different game. It's more interesting. I like it. But besides the format, it was just good Rocket League. I like watching how different regions play and see how they match up against each other. Like EU and NA kind of have different playing styles. They've been playing against each other for so long now that they've kind of starting to blend together a little bit, but they still do have distinct playing styles. but like South America has a completely different playing style, and so I just like seeing how different regions play the game differently. Just because it's the same game, but there's so much freedom and so much creativity that in a bubble you might come up with a different way to play that's completely different from anything that we've seen, and I just like to see that and see how these teams match up against each other. And the Jaguars and the Dragons had a really good game. So you can check that series out. That was a really good series. I'll put the link to it and all the other series and games I talk about in the description box. Now the next series I want to talk about is between Business and 72 pin connectors. Now one reason I want to talk about this is because they had what had to have been the longest Rule 1 in a tournament. Not just that I've seen, but maybe ever. I don't know how you could So they go into Rule 1 at 4:05 on the clock, and they're still in it with a minute left to go. And they didn't get broken up the whole time. No one scored. It was still 0-0. And what made it even better was halfway through, the game camera gets stuck on one of them, and it stays on there for 40 seconds, so we're watching the game from the point of view of the Rule 1, and then it goes off of them, and then in a second it comes right back, and it stays on them for like another 20 seconds. So for like a whole minute of the game, we're watching the game from two guys doing Rule number 1, which was just awesome. I don't know, it's like 3 minutes. Like, more than 3 minutes of Rule number 1. Come on, guys. I don't... If you've ever seen a Rule number 1 in a tournament longer than that, please show me. Tell me. Put a link in it. Put a link in the comments. I want to see it, because this has to be the longest Rule number 1 I've ever seen in a tournament. But besides that, they were just really good games. They went back and forth the whole time. It went to Game 5 like we love to see. What's better than Game 5? The hype just builds up. There are really good challenges like throughout the whole game, just real actual 50-50s. Like really good, like, okay, we're going to go against each other, and it's going to be an actual 50-50. So whose partner is going to come and clean it up, Just really good Rocket League. And just a few small mistakes that cost them the game. So check that series out too. And I want to talk about this game in particular. This is Business versus Brooklyn, Game 3. Now usually I like to talk about good things that happen in the game that I highlight, but I just want to show you guys, just how decision making decides games. Because I was watching this game, and there were a few times where I literally wondered where people were. Like, I'm not great at the game. I'll tell you that right now. I'm like a low platinum. But I saw things and I'm like, that doesn't seem right. So like right here, after you challenge, you should rotate back. So you're the first man. You challenge. If you have a bad challenge and you lose it, you got to rotate back. So now you're the third man. So I'm not sure where he was. Like on this play right here. He loses a challenge. His teammate has a bad challenge. That's understandable. You're not going to have a great challenge every time. But he should have had enough time to rotate back to be able to make the save. I'm also wondering where his other teammate was. Or this guy right here that lost the first challenge, he should have been back in time to be able to make that save. So maybe he went all the way across the field to get boost. You can't see where he's at in the replay, but I feel like he should have been able to get back to the ball to get that. And also this play right here, where I'm not sure if he goes for the ball and he misses it, or if he's dodging to go get the boost, because that's what it looks like. But the ball is on his goal line, like going towards his net. So you shouldn't be going for boost. I know it's threes, and you should have someone behind you, but you should also be communicating, and you just shouldn't be going for the boost if that's what's happening right now. You shouldn't be going for the boost. You should be going for the ball to make sure it doesn't go into your net. That's your main priority. So this just shows you how, and they lost 3-0. So, and those are two goals right there where, just one decision that you may have made just cost you a goal, and that's a whole game right there. And you have to fight to get momentum back. That's not what you want to have to do. So, it just shows you how decision making decides games. So just keep that in mind. So for upcoming tournaments, we've got some good ones. The season's almost here, guys. So we've got the Rocket Baguette Rising Stars. That's going to start on January 18th. And we also have the WCBC, the Women's Carball Championship, Season 1. That's starting this Saturday on January 11th, which is cool. It's going to be a league of all women playing soccer league, or all girls, or however old they are, which is pretty cool. We don't have a lot of girls in the Rocket League community. So let's see how they play. And then we also have the RLCS South American Grand Series qualifiers are starting. So that's RLCS for South America. So we're going to see who's going to be representing South America this year at RLCS. So that's starting on the 18th and the 19th. Those are just the qualifiers. All right, guys. That's it for this week. Thanks for coming back. Go out and play some Rocket League.